again to the Professional Goblins podcast. Today, I'm your host, Scott Gladstein. With me, as always, is...
Mike Myler. And unlike all of our other episodes thus far, we are going to introduce a third co-host.
Does that make me a co-host?
Yes, it does.
No. It makes all of us are co-hosts.
Okay.
Equally.
Co-host
Not one of us is the head host. If there was a head host, I would argue that I'm the head host. But that's not really for now.
So
there can be only one.
Let's say Savannah does have the dubious credit of also being having hosted it exclusively with me.
That's true.
That's true. Technically, you guys have done more episodes than me.
Let's say I know I have done more episodes than you by like one or two, but I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of things. So there are three of us, but as you can see, there are four people on the screen. Mysterious stranger, who are you? What are you doing here?
Well, I'm Duan Byrd, and I was mysteriously contacted by Mike, and I was like, who is this guy? And then he explained that I should maybe be on your podcast. And I'm like, what is this podcast? But then I saw that Robert was on it, and I actually watched it one time before, like I think last year. And I was
oh my god, there's a last year for us? That's scary.
So I was like, well, if Robert was on it, it's good enough for me. So I agreed to come on.
I approve of the idea of using Brooks as a barometer. That's very silly.
Yeah,
please continue.
I've known Robert since about 2009 or 2010, because we met role playing in MUSHes.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, we were in a Heroes Mush, and he was one of the staff members running stories and stuff.
Nice.
Like the Heroes, the TV show.
Let's say so you have come to the right group. Me and Mike. I don't know about Savannah, but I know that me and Mike are big fans of MUSHes. So
yeah, it's really impressive to me how many people we drudge up who are like, oh yeah, MUSHes.
You know, I have never heard of this phenomenon, to be honest.
Oh, you're missing out on like some really dedicated, like keeping a notepad next to your computer, going, what's the command for that obscure thing? It's a text-based it's like a text-based MMO basically.
It's like play-by-post, but with way more players and way faster.
Yeah.
That does sound intriguing.
It's like
it's pretty good.
It's like a roguelike MMO.
I've been in them for about 12 years now. I started when I was 17. I'm 29 now. But yeah, I first started in a MUD, a Dragon Ball Z MUD.
Oh my god, that's awesome! I've done that. My favorite one is I did a Dune MUD that exists, and it was really weird. So here, tell everybody actually, what have you worked on? What's your background in the industry? How do you do this stuff?
Oh, well, as far as what I've worked on, I've only worked on Aethera so far, because I know Robert, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll do this. But yeah, it was really fun experience and everything. Like, there was all these professionals from Paizo and stuff, and I'm like, why am I here? but you know, it was really cool because they had a really big push to have a diverse set of developers and everything.
Yeah.
And when we were doing the initial brainstorming, we were talking about this one race, the phalanx, the robot race. And so they didn't want it to be a weird stereotypical slave thing, and they were asking for opinions. So I wrote a whole elaborate introduction of a concept of what I would do. And he's like, well, you seem to know what you want to do with this, so you just do the whole race.
Just take it and run with it, man. I love it.
Yeah. So he basically just tossed me into it, gave me every difficult thing I could possibly do to make an entire race. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I figured it all out. I had about I think 2 or 3 months to work on it, and it was a very educational experience. And the editors made my writing amazing.
they are useful for that. Let's say you want to know a dirty secret. You want to know a dirty secret? None of us know what we're doing when we start. Hell, most of the time we don't know what we're doing today. We're just gonna yeah, that worked. I totally meant to do that.
The first thing I submitted to Paizo, first application, I included a 68-page document, and now when I look back at that thing, I'm deeply embarrassed by how badly it was all done and stuff.
Oh, no.
So I recently, this weekend, I was working on some resume stuff, and I was like, I wonder how many things I've actually worked on. It's 104 now. I am ashamed of some of those. I am proud of a lot of those, but there's also ones I'm just like, that wasn't the first product to put out. Please don't look at that list and find out how bad the Kinslayer was. Oh. The one module I wrote, I am ashamed of. I've contributed modules and stuff to other things, but like the only one I've released solo, I was just like, actually released 2, but mini adventures. But yeah. So yeah, if you guys don't know, or if you're joining us for the first time, oh god, no, I'm kidding. If you're joining us for the first time, we have a schedule. We have a little bit of a formatted show. We talk about a few different topics. All the hosts kind of chime in on it, and oh my god, even you. So the first one is, what's your favorite character? Go ahead.
Well, normally we start with a product review, but John Kennedy, our previous guest, did not give us a product to review. So
yeah, if you got one, let us know. But yeah, we talk about our favorite character either in a game we're currently in or a lesson we took from a character in the past. So does anyone have something they want to open us up with?
Well, yeah, since we were just talking about MUDs and MUSHes and stuff, I'm going to talk about Squee and Red Dragon. So I got way into Red Dragon, and I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11. And it was this really excellent, like a bunch of ASCII maps and everything, and like the whole thing was programmed. You could play through it immediately, just like you would like an old text-based adventure game, but like so much more expansive and incredible.
Love it.
And I was not very well liked, being a petulant child, and I found like I couldn't commit to a character long enough to level up high enough, and I couldn't befriend anyone that was high enough level to drag me. So like I was just cursed to these lower level characters until I finally made Squee, who is my like despicable little goblin rogue, and I found the Orc King in this like forgotten quest from the original build of the game, like the mods and stuff they completely forgot existed. And it had this sword in it that wasn't very powerful, but it activated every single round. So in addition to like striking, it would do its special activation thing. So like I went crazy, I pulled a bunch of resources, I killed the dude once, and I got the sword.
Nice.
Of course you looted everything you killed, right?
Yeah.
And then I used that immediately to get another sword. And then I completely fucked all of the game's market because I flooded it with this Orc King's sword.
Good job, Mike.
Then I became the richest character on the server, despite being 13th level, I think. And the cap was like 80. So I was just a real dick. And I was below the TPK level. So you couldn't just walk up and slice me down. Yeah. Oh. Squee.
And you're telling me you didn't put Economy Crasher on your business card?
I know. And they found out, they were so mad. But like one mom was like, "But look, you can't just like ban him. Like it's not his fault. He didn't know that it was bugged, right?" And I was like, "No,
totally
I didn't know that. I thought that was supposed to work." Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they just like let me keep my 8 million gold or whatever ridiculous fucking number it was. And then I paid people to drag me.
Nice.
So
there we go.
yeah. Even when you are playing in an online environment where nobody likes you, if you work hard enough, you will find an exploitable bug that you can use to crash the economy.
And then people fake like you.
That sounds really niche, as metaphors or as aphorisms go.
Yeah. Really, the lesson there should just like don't be a dick and be mature when you play games with other people.
Unlike Mike.
Until a little bit. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't even want to say what my handle was. I was a youngin'. It was many years ago.
Oh yeah. So either of you guys got one? I got one.
I think it was about 10 years ago, something like that. I was on a Cowby Bebop on MUD. Like,
really?
It was a role-playing intensive MUD, but the staff were incredibly corrupt. This would normally be a deal breaker, but I was in a faction. It wasn't really we didn't really have a staff or anything. Mm-hmm. And the other faction, there was only 2 factions, like really. The other faction was all staff. They had like, yeah.
Nice.
They had mobs and with lasers and shit and anything. If you tried to go in there, you just get killed. Our faction, like, we didn't have a door. Yeah. So So like we spent so much time just like grinding and leveling and figuring out every inch of how to play this game, and we basically started committing terrorism against the staff character. We would plant bombs in their ships and just like sneak up on them and assassinate them. We would get like so freaking crazy. We would just like rush through their crazy like staffed up broken like base and steal stuff. And then we started hacking their bank accounts, and it was and these are people who would actually go into their sheets and just modify stuff and just become amazing.
So it didn't matter you were stealing from them.
Yeah, but we kept doing this for months and months and months, and then eventually staff just started leaving and just being done with the game, and then we're like, well, I guess we win, and now we have a moral victory. And then we just kind of all left, and the game died.
So Mike is the economy killer, and your group were the world crushers.
No, they're just the terrorists. Great.
Yep.
So,
I mean, to be fair, the mods
criminal. White collar.
That's a great show.
I was gonna say, to be fair, I feel like the mods started the terrorism.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it does sound like their fault. Yeah.
So that actually reminds me. So I got one that's not actually a MUD or a role-playing thing as much, but it's just as bad. So there was this game before. It was MMO. So when I was a kid, I used to hop MMO to MMO, even Korean ones. It was great. So there was one called, what was it? It was a martial arts one, but anyway, it was from Korea or something, and it was really low budget and it was fun. And there's all these factions and whatever, and they had a bunch of every week. There was 4 factions that you could join, and every week I think 6 maybe, and they had bases and everything, and you could actually go and join their big faction on faction battle, which was literally 1,000 people. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. Maybe it was a few hundred. I don't remember what it was. I couldn't tell because my computer was so laggy, and the servers would just die every time they had these battles. So, and there was not really a limit. We never hit the limit on the most people you could have because not everyone was online. So I went ahead and I went there, and I had an alt that was mid to high level, and I knew how to play the game, but I was on my lower level character, and I start talking all right guys, here's our strategy, here's what we're gonna do, yada yada. Watch the right flank, left flank. It was basically the map was basically 3 entry points, each having a set of crystals and a big area in the center. Then it went to the other guy's crystals, and the goal was to destroy all the crystals. So I'm talking. I'm level 10 out of 100 or 13, and everyone's like, "What level are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm 13. I got an alt." And they're like, "Don't listen to this guy." And they basically just banned me from main chat, and I just start yelling, "All right, anyone under level 20, join my group." And every new player in this faction joins my group. We set up a Discord, or it wasn't Discord, what was it back then? It was TeamSpeak. We set up a TeamSpeak, and we literally had 60 people on. It was great. So we all funnel in, and we all start going through the thing. And now the big guys are just fighting, destroying everything, killing everyone, and we're talking on TeamSpeak about what we're doing. Suddenly, through one of the passageways, these guys, because it's so laggy, it's literally one guy appears, and they're like, "Oh, it's only level 10. Another guy appears, then 10 guys appears, then 20 guys appears, then 60 guys appear. And suddenly, by the end of this, we have this horde that mills through level 100s. Because all we have to do every time we die is we just keep running the same straight line. So like a blender, we start going through this entire thing, and we get to the crystal. Now, no one else from our faction has got to the other enemy's crystal yet, except the left flank that we took. So we had this battle cry. If you guys know Magic the Gathering, there's a card called Army of Squirrels. Every round you put out a squirrel token, and it's great. And the flavor text on the card is, "An army of squirrels is still an army." So what we are screaming is, "An army of noobs is still an army." In map chat, as we get to the things, now you have to be certain level to hurt the crystals. So we see this mountain of 0, popping up, so we can't deal damage to it. Criticals, 1 damage! And we whittle down the frickin' crystals by dealing 1 damage to it at a time. And these guys are just sitting there like, "Oh my god, I can't believe what they did. How did they do this? I can't..." And they are so pissed. They are massive. I think we won it, but it had nothing to do with us winning, but except for the fact that we got the left side, and they were just so pissed at us, the entire enemy faction. So guys, remember, an army of noobs is still an army.
I like it. Oh man, I feel sort of out of place. I was just going to suggest like a tabletop character for mine. Jeez, guys.
I had a different tabletop story lined up, but you guys made me think of that one.
That's fair.
I was talking about MUDs, and I was like, oh yeah, the Orc King sword.
So Savannah, what do you got for us today?
So my Call of Cthulhu game was Sunday, and not to do too many spoilers for Horror on the Orient Express, but we were fighting the big bad evil guy, who is a vampire, and is of course like massively powerful, like 10 feet tall, like Castlevania shit going on. Doesn't shoot fireballs though. But anyway, my character is also a vampire. He's essentially a fledgling of this big bad evil vampire's fledgling. And so this guy is literally the first vampire. He is the Stroud of his world. And I have been a vampire for 2 weeks, and I'm not good at it. However, I have a stake. And so we have chased this vampire all around this train, because we're still on the Orient Express right now. And we're in the chapel car, and our big heavy hitter dude has just gotten a priest thrown at him.
At him?
Yes, at him. We joked that he was so bad that they couldn't throw the book at him, they had to throw the whole priest. So he's had a priest thrown at him, he's temporarily out of commission, and it's just me standing between him and the big bad guy. And I'm like, okay, I tell the GM, like, okay, so I use my 3 blood points, which was a homebrew system that we came up with, not standard. I use my 3 blood points to, like, up my strength, and I rush the vampire. So I go in, and if you're familiar with Call of Cthulhu, you always want to roll low. You try and roll below your proficiency percentile. And so I end up with, like, a 4 or something. And do ridiculously well. And the vampire rolls his dodge to avoid my flying jump stake, and he rolls a 99. And the GM's like, well, I guess you stake him. and to be fair, he didn't like poof into dust. He was just paralyzed, and he could still try and mind control people. But it was really cool. What was supposed to be like a 2-hour cinematic battle was just me like running at him, screaming and stabbing him, and then us trying to fight off his mind control. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Savannah has the BBEG touch.
Yep. I try.
What was the one roll? It was one in. Wasn't one in 400. It was one in 2,000. No, 4,800.
It was more than that. Yeah, I was gonna say it was so much.
It was insane. I was just like, I couldn't. I still. Oh my god.
I had a.
I still have the screenshot of those 3 ones you rolled, Mike.
I just couldn't believe it. It's just like, how the fuck? Alright, so, number 3. Third topic.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite project?
Working projects. So these are projects that we worked on, not projects that other people worked on. Talk about that next.
Alright, I'll start us off, I guess. So, I started working on this class that worked around leadership at one point. Yeah, I'm tackling leadership. I literally wrote a class that is more than half sidebar. Because leadership is stupid.
Yes.
There are a lot of problems with
There's a lot of, I beat leadership with a stick in sidebars. But I'm like, you know what? I should make some NPCs. 80 pages of NPCs later, I have an entire NPC codex now. To be fair, I used not Realmcrafter, what's it called? Hero Lab for a bit of it. But a lot of them, I now have the Crabadon, who is a king crab paladin, who is tiny size, who rides a horse. Like, we had the static, like, NPCs, like, and I set stuff up, like, every other level for, like, a warrior, for example, or for a fighter, for example, and stuff. So you have the NPCs, but then there's the section is just called Madness. There is also Blinky the Rabid Lich.
Is it a Blink Bunny?
No, it is a goblin. I don't know why I called him Blinky, but he's a rabid goblin who caught a really bad case of lich. He was a rogue, but then no one wanted to hang out with him, so he left the goblin tribe, and he befriended a Wolverine.
So he was Mike's character from the last section?
Yep. So he, no one wanted to hang out with a Lich, so he hung out in the forest and became a ranger, and now he has a Wolverine. And, yeah, that is Blinky. There's also a guy who has one level in every... We were talking about this a few weeks back, and I just basically pulled up a character I had made before. He has one level of every full BAB class, and it is just absurd. But yeah, we have lots of fun NPCs in there. Like, we have the standard ones you can just play with, but there's also ones that are just like... And guess what? Here's a Crab Paladin, who has an enchanted magical claw and a tiny shield, wearing full plate, riding a large-sized horse. And he's gonna smite you.
So what, like, tenets, like, what faith does this Crab Paladin?
He is a paladin of the sea god, I'm leaving it setting neutral for that, who is going to punish all those polluters on the land.
I like it.
He is crabby wrath shall descend upon thee. And I do not know how the hell this is going to work out, but it's going to be beautiful. I think I only want to get like one piece of art for that book, and it's going to be the Crabadon.
That's good.
Oh, so Mike, you'll appreciate this. I have actually finally hired Jacob Blackman for a few things in our Monster Race book, so, and I just got the stuff in. It looks beautiful. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm putting out 80-something pages of NPCs at some point soon. So, what do you guys got?
Duan, did you have something?
There's something very old. Like the first thing I ever really like worked on, like what made me like really learn like how working on a tabletop even works. This is before I ever even read like a D&D book or anything. Like this is about a year before I started like playing MUDs and MUSHes and stuff. And I played something called Beyond Tabletop. It was like on the thing called Beyond. It was like a really weird graphical MUD type thing.
Which is not D&D Beyond, by the way.
But yeah, it was weird. So I made like a lot of, I was like about 16, 17 at the time. I made a lot of like anime-based things, but as I said, I didn't know anything about actual tabletop. So I would just make up all of these rules, and I would host the game on my own PC, and I would have like 10 to like 17 people come in, and I would like have to DM for all of them at the same time. And I learned so much from doing that, and it was just insane. And I think the most notable one I did, because I didn't know anything about longevity or anything like that, so I had like a Full Metal Alchemist thing going, and and I kind of like let people do whatever they wanted, and I just went with it as a DM just to, it was fun. So this one character decides that she wants to actually make the Philosopher's Stone, and she goes through this whole thing. And I'm like, well, I have to make a ruling on this because she's actually like succeeded at like a lot of her roles to like try to do what she wants to do. And I was like, well, you know what? I think the most logical outcome of this is that the world ends and she converts all of mankind into a stone. And that was the end of that campaign.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, I was like, that was my first experience with that kind of thing, and it really got me into the creative side of like making RPGs and just writing and tabletop and stuff.
And that's what you're still working on today?
Is any of that like online or the blog or anything like that? Like, is it accessible?
I may have stuff like backed up, and I never thought to like go and like get it, but I very likely still have like a lot of that stuff. So I'll probably put it up sometime if I like go and look for it.
Yeah, it sounds like it makes for a blog series.
Yeah.
Blog series.
So, Mike, what are you working on?
Well, I've been editing this thing called the Advanced Story Point System, so I've been pretty busy doing that and wrapping up other projects. Like, finally, there was some hubbub with the No Direction book because their back cover is. I don't want to spoil it. Their back cover had some hubbub that we had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So there was extra delays. But finally, like tonight, I'm going to be putting the last touches on the files and sending them out. Hopefully, he'll have prints to show off at GenCon. I really hope he does.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah. But no, what I enjoyed working on a lot more this week was the Book of Exalted Darkness history.
Oh.
Because yeah, I like doing the world history, and I had to get some stuff into place and open up some time to think about it. But I'm really happy with what I came up with.
Fantastic.
Let me see. I don't know. I've had such a busy day. So it starts off with the world is actually a terrible place.
Really?
Then the celestial heroes roll up and they like start to save it. they become popular, and like there's different problems on each continent. Oranios is contiguous around the entire planet, so that's the first one to get a rail station, and like the first one to get like conquered by goodness. So then a lot of the evil moves to Somovi into the wilderness continent, and then the far continent, which is Akthombo, where all of the dragons end up going because they get chased out of Somovi and Oranios. And yeah, as you can see, once I like finally have time to like get into it, I really dig it. So I wrote a couple thousand pretty awesome words. I don't know. I had to the playtest documents, but I haven't looked through the playtest documents for comments yet. I'm waiting until, I don't know, probably next week when I have time to do it, give it proper attention. But I don't know. The rest of the design team liked it.
That's always that's a good sign.
What did Mike McCarthy said? It's whack, but in a good kind of way. No,
that sounds about
except
right.
for the one confusing thing. Yeah, he prefaced it, except for the one. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and then it all came together pretty good. Like the creation of all the spheres and how everybody gets driven underground, and then like there's a period where they think that they've won and like evil's gone, but it really was just like a ploy by the mad scientists who have precisely timed everything out with their like corruption of the souls of the planet, and they've got like these probability matrices so they can figure out with some degree of certainty where the evil people are going to pop up, so they can influence their lives and like draw them into their monstrous plans to kill them.
That's insidious, my dude.
I know, and I got the playtesting was dope. They're two seventh of the way to giving the living saint dementia. Instead of just killing her, they're giving her dementia because that's going to be way more damaging to the celestial hero that relies on her for like advice. Yeah.
True.
I love doing evil stuff. Obviously,
we know.
I mean, I don't personally love to do evil things. I like to write about evil things being done to fictional characters.
I'd say, Mike, that sounds like you're saying this in case cops are watching.
I am sure that is the case. And then Savannah, what are you working on this week?
So it turns out that for the past 3 months I've been fighting a kidney infection I didn't know I had.
That's awesome.
So I've been kind of slow on the doing of work things. However, what I'm going to be doing is my write-up for the Order of the Ember Die Strange Aeons Marathon number 6. So not to like drop any spoilers before the blog drops, but we did, do our 6th book marathon, and we always wrap them up with an epilogue or a letter. So I've been doing it in the form of Winter Klazka, the group NPC, is writing back to the mother of her, I keep wanting to say Chantry, I've been playing too much Dragon Age, of her Pharasman, church. And it's been great because throughout the entire AP, we've been going mad in various ways.
Of course.
And so I like to have the letters reflect that. At one point, Winter became delusional and decided that she was the avatar of Pharasma. And wrote this letter essentially, talking crap to, Mother Thestia about how, she had no idea the true power of the goddess, and, da-da-da-da-da, and how Winter would return and, lead the people, and da-da-da. And then the next layer was, oh my god, I don't know what happened, I'm so sorry. So it's been a nice balance for that.
Sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to look forward to. All right. We also talk about projects that we are not working on because we want to support other people, and I will kick us off. About a year ago, Steve Russel, who was a really cool guy and a publisher who ran Right Publishing, got into a terrible car crash and passed away. So to commemorate his passing, they released Pathways 67, which, like all other Pathways, is totally free. So if you play Pathfinder, go and download it and find out more about Steve if you didn't already know him.
So if you...
I think they include the email, but there's an email. I'm sure if you ask Right Publishing about what the email address is, if you have any stories about Steve, or if you'd like to give a message to his child, because he had just recently had a child before he passed, it's extremely tragic. They set up an inbox for people to share their memories of Steve with his kid. So
I still remember that GenCon talking to him, drinking late into the night at the Were Cabbage party. He was a good guy. Me and him used to be up at all hours, and we used to trade messages on Facebook at 3 a.m. about various things. But he was a very good guy.
I don't know. I felt weird. Somebody on Facebook compared us to the Demi-Plane of Gaming, which was a show just like this one, actually, that he and Owen Casey Stevens did a long time ago. I was like, oh, shit. So now we definitely have to talk about Steve when stuff like this comes up. But, yeah, I mean, I promise it's good stuff. I think we've all written for Pathways except for maybe Duan. But, yeah, check it out.
I've written for that, yeah.
I've not written, but I might have edited something that went in. I don't remember.
I read some stuff.
I get Quadriel's Tower, which was this... if you really want to screw with your players, go get Quadriel's Tower, because they will become paranoid afterwards.
I did Weapons of India for it. I wrote an entire section on weapons. I was actually doing it for a SCA paper I was writing on pre-16th century North Indian fencing stuff. And I actually came across a huge list of their weapons. I was converting them over to Pathfinder, and I'm like, would you guys like something like this? And they're like, So I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, no, he's great to work with. He's a good guy.
I gotta give him
they're
more
continuing.
content.
Right Publishing is not done with or over. Like, his wife is totally taken the helm, and it's still going. So
I gotta send them some stuff. I got a bunch of back content. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever gonna publish this. You guys want to put it out?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's talk about favorite projects that are not ours. And we had two people say the same thing here. So I'll let our guests say it. Talk about it a bit more. But it's a Humble Bundle.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The Doctor Who one.
Yeah, the one you put down today.
Yeah.
But I put it down too, so I'll let you talk about it.
He talked to me about it in Facebook chat, so I put it down for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I have never actually played a Doctor Who tabletop. I had no idea there were so many books.
Yep.
Do you guys know anything about it actually?
What?
I said, do you guys actually know anything about it?
Honestly, I didn't know it existed until y'all brought it up.
So I actually backed it.
All right.
So yeah, it's a Humble Bundle. If you guys don't know what Humble Bundle is, you can donate any amount of money you want. I mean, generally, and the more you donate, the more stuff you get, and it goes to a charity. And you can actually choose what % of your donation goes to charity, which goes to the developer, and which one goes to as a tip to Humble Bundle, which is really cool. We've run a lot of stuff in the past, and it's a great way to get a lot of old stuff. I backed a Sonic one and got a zillion things. At one point, there was a game developer one that had, if you back us, you get all this free art. I'm like, I can use that for tabletop. I got 3,000 pieces of artwork from that one for $20.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, and I've been using them for years. So, anyway, this one is for Doctor Who. It is it gives you the Doctor Who by role-playing game by Cubicle 7, as well as if you back for just $1. I gotta tell you, I did. I'm not huge into the Doctor Who role-playing game or anything. I haven't played it. I like Doctor Who. And I love that they have a woman as the next Doctor. Yeah. Sorry.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. It's a bunch of stuff. And if you look at if you go down to $25, you're literally getting 20-something PDFs. Some puzzle games, some stuff like that, and they have companion books for each of the Doctors, starting at the first Doctor as a companion book, a source book, for all the enemies and plot lines and stuff. It's kind of cool. I mean, I haven't looked at it yet. I literally downloaded it or backed it an hour or two before the show. Though I'd heard about it, I just remembered to do it today. It looks really cool.
As of this filming, it has about 14 days left. So.
Yep. So pick it up, guys.
All right, and then any other projects that Savannah, you want to prop something? You got something?
I don't have anything in mind this time. Maybe I'll have 2 for next time.
That's okay.
I should.
But say only pitch them if they're worth talking about. We don't want to.
I know that Jacob Blackman had more releases in his superpowered Iconics line, so that's cool.
I'm looking forward to Scion and Second Edition, like by Onyx Publishing. I don't know much about it yet. Like Scion is probably my favorite thing that White Wolf did. Like, cause not the mechanics, but the actual whole like the world and everything. I fucking love it. So I'm really looking forward to the Onyx version of it.
Holy Jesus Christ!
With hopefully good mechanics.
He got $334,000 to make this? What?
I'd say sign me up. What?
That's crazy. That's a ton of money.
You need some content written, buddy?
Yeah. Son of a bitch, call us. A ton of money. So is that out yet, or no? That's coming out in October.
Yeah. It's not out yet. If it was out, I'd be all over it.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, the art looks really nice.
So you got. So
the Pathfinder, Starfinder news and speculation.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything, although Duan has something. As usual, we're going to start off this section with there's a Google Drive document where somebody has collected all of the info that's been released about Starfinder. It's like 70 or 80 pages. It'll be in the YouTube description. So.
Yeah, really, all I really have is something that Robert said in public on his page. Like he said that we were in talks for a while, like between him and the guy who's doing Starfinder, and we were discussing if things should be combined into the same thing or make compatible, but or themes are pretty, even though they're both sci-fi, they're pretty different themes, and we would have to delay for about a year, I think. And,
yeah, I remember we talked about it at the PaizoCon 2016 because they were jumping in with Legendary, and then Hypercore is already out, and that's Cyberpunk. And he was like, okay, so should we do it for Starfinder or Pathfinder? I was like, it's ridiculous. Why would you wait to do it for Starfinder? You have all the stuff. Just do it.
So we're out now. We were a while. I don't know if we still are, but I know for a while we were the #1 selling book on Drive-Thru RPG. So it's doing well.
You're talking about Aethera, right?
Yeah. And I'll get my copy of the book soon, the physical copy. It's a huge freaking 500-page hardcover book. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the supplements for it start to come out yet? The Aethera Companion or
I know
intrigue book. He was talking about the propaganda book.
I'm pretty sure a few minor supplements have come out. I don't think any major ones have come out yet. I'm not sure, but I know there have been a few things that have come out so far though.
Cool.
And I know we have rumblings of us wanting to do a monster manual kind of thing.
That's cool.
But we have we don't have anything in the box yet. But we're talking about it because I know I want to work on it because I would freaking love to do it. So we'll see what happens.
So Mike, what is this about D&D Beyond?
Yeah, so
as we roll into our next section,
D&D 5e news and speculation. Yeah, it's coming out on August 15th officially. They're officially coming online, all the stuff. August 15th. It'll be $6 a month for GMs, $3 a month for players, and then it's $29 for if you want to buy one of the adventures digitally. I think initially because you got sale or something.
Does that give you a copy of the
maybe
adventure?
they're gonna be opening on sale for $19.99. Yeah, it's a digital version of Storm King's Thunder.
So it gives you the actual PDF too.
No, it gives you access to all that information through the D&D Beyond website, I believe. I don't think there's PDF. I don't think that's happening.
So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's. I'm pretty sure that it's doomed.
So I gotta tell you,
because there's a fucking Verge article on it, and every time I see one of these articles, it's so hilariously transparent to me that the person writing it has almost no fucking knowledge. I don't know.
So Mike, here's a kind of a counterpoint. I think it's gonna go tits up too. But the thing is, I've seen lots and lots and lots of people on my feed who are not super hardcore gamers, but they've rolled dice once or twice, who are oh, this is so cool. They're making it so approachable. I'm like, huh. I don't know if they're gonna be the ones who are actually gonna buy it, but it's nice to see that. But it also shows
and
us
it's
that
important to point out that the core rules and stuff will remain as a free thing that you can access on the website.
that's kind of cool.
That, at least,
So the thing is, though, like I said, it's even if Beyond doesn't go well, we can take something away from this. People really like that, so I can just pull up my phone and go top. Okay, here's my character built into the thing. The GM can see it. The VTT mobile thing, if it's really clean and nice, people seem to really like it.
I mean, speaking from someone who's primarily RP'd online, to me it seems like a more advanced version of like an SRD plus some kind of like weird like mush wiki or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great idea. Like, I haven't done a lot of tabletop in person, so when I see something like this, I'm like, wow, this is so much better than what I've been doing. Because what I've been doing is like typing like plus and then sheet in a mush. And this is way better. So I think it's great. Like, and as you said, I think it's way more approachable than I guess just going out and buying like a $30 book, like for like the average person. And it's a gateway to get into it. And then when you're really into it, then they'll buy the $30 book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I think they're making a mistake with like no kind of like provide us with the UPC code of your D&D, player's handbook, and we'll open up all the options, right? Like, that would be an easy thing for them to do.
Yeah.
But no, they're going to try to turn all those, one purchase customers into digital purchase customers of the same product.
It's not.
And
that's kind of weird. Like, I
be
would
prepared to see that attitude and approach from them for everything.
No, that's weird because this is a weird a weird example, but it's recent because someone just gave me a bunch of Pokemon cards. But with the Pokemon card game now, you get like these little cards in the pack, and you can scan those to get a free electronic pack to play it online. So I don't see why D&D wouldn't do that too. Like, it seems like a cool idea.
The cost to produce the online product is so abysmally low compared to like the actual physical product, shipping it to stores, retailing, marketing it, advertising it, all that shit. You've already done all that work. Like, you already have a digital file. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think it. We'll see.
I'm not excited about that. Just to be clear, I'm just like, it's interesting to see how like more casual players are reacting. Though it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Still no news on DM's Guild being allowed on D&D Beyond, by the way. Still haven't heard on that. I told my FLGS this earlier today. He was like, what? Yeah. Speaking of what's other RPG business?
Cool.
In an incredibly meta moment, apparently early files of the Cyberpunk 2077 MMORPG have been stolen by hackers who are now demanding a ransom from CD Projekt Red.
That sounds like something that would happen in Cyberpunk, yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want to say that they're asking for it, but
it's in genre, that's for sure.
it is definitely in genre, and I hope that they don't end up releasing it and they don't get injured in any way, of course.
Well, you know what? They're LARPing. This is LARPing. That's what it is.
For a second, I thought like maybe this is like a really intense marketing scheme.
like viral marketing.
Ooh.
Yeah, 'cause
Yep.
this is kind of shit that I might try to pull.
Hey, this is
But I'm kind of crazy, and I don't have like a bunch of money and people who have like jobs that families that depend on their job, and me to make sure their job is there. Like, yeah.
This has been happening a lot lately. Like, a lot of movies have been getting stolen by hackers and held for ransom. So it's kind of a trend now, like just hacking and stealing stuff.
The last Pirates of the Caribbean was the one I heard.
Yeah.
And I just laughed because he was like, are you serious now?
The trailers for them for some movies get leaked like months before they're supposed to. You know what you do in that case? You just go whatever and put it down. Don't worry about it. Someone hacked our thing and got it. Here you guys go. So that would.
I mean, leaking is why Deadpool got a movie. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that was internal leaking.
Yeah.
That wasn't a hacker. That was them going, oops, I dropped this file online. I sure as hell hope nobody shares this. It might make us get a movie. Oh, darn. Here's a few $1 million. Oh.
Now what do we do?
I mentioned my friendly local game store owner, and I think this might be RPG-worthy news. He is the only blind game store owner that we know about in the world.
Mm-hmm.
and he will be at GenCon.
That's cool.
In the Studio 2 publishing booth, which I think is 1929-2029.
I almost said I hope to see him there, but I decided that would be in bad taste.
If you see the dude who's like looking around like sort of like crazy eyed, because he can still see like shapes and stuff, he just can't like get like details like faces or anything like that. That is Blind Phil. He will not be offended if you call him Blind Phil. That is totally cool with that.
I will accede that he is perhaps the only one now, but actually at one of the local game stores in Kent, Washington, he's passed away since. But the place is called Blind Dragon because the owner couldn't see.
Was blind. Oh shit! Cool. I gotta tell him about that. He's gonna want to know.
Yep.
Oh, he's gonna be sad that he's
brothers in arms, man.
I mean, he's the kind of guy who's gonna be sad, but he's like, but that makes me the only blind game. I know for a fact. I mean, gonna come out of his mouth.
They are by definition more common than you thought they were, though, Mike. So there could be another one.
Guys, if you know of a blind game store owner, please direct them to us because we are very invested in this topic and we really want to know if there are other ones.
True. So what's this? You had something about SCA?
Oh, did I put that on here? Oh yeah, so
you did.
I had a really interesting conversation with a bunch of people on SCA event. If you guys don't know, SCA is like recreation stuff, and we were doing a bunch of fighting with rapiers and swords, and there were like 20 of us in the...
My uncle was old hardcore SCA.
Oh, there's like still old hardcore SCA around, trust me. I fought them. I got bruises to show it.
Yeah, he's too fucked up to do it anymore.
So, I was talking with this guy, some high-ranking dude with a crown and everything. I don't think he was at least... He was one of those people you addressed as Your Excellency. Not one that is a ruling active king or baron or anything, but... and they were having some conversation, they go, oh, Scott does that stuff. I'm like, hi. So I got pulled into that conversation. It was very interesting to talk about, because there are a lot of different levels of like players. There was a venture captain from Pathfinder there was a really casual new player. There are some people who have been playing for 20 years, and this guy who sounds like he was rolling dice before I was even in a diaper. So it was really interesting to see what games came out of their mouth. A lot of times it was Pathfinder. Everyone said the one thing people could agree on was Pathfinder, which is kind of cool to see. But the other thing is like Traveler.
Pathfinder is a game designer's game in the way that Frank Sinatra is a singer's singer.
I can see that. And so everyone was kind of able to connect on that. But the question came up: what is your favorite like hard sci-fi space game? Or even I think he said science fiction game. He didn't say hard sci-fi. And weirdly enough, most people said Traveler. I mean, I won't say that's weirdly enough, but that's kind of cool to me that, like, I haven't played a lot of Traveler. I've made the characters. I think I played in one game at one point for the books.
It was the first big sci-fi RPG.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was actually kind of getting a vibe, if we want to throw it back a little bit, are you guys excited for Starfinder? And one of the venture captains was like, I can't tell you because I've read it. I was in their playtest stuff. But everyone else was like, yeah, we're hesitant but excited. And I'm like, I wonder how that Pathfinder, like, because you don't think of like them as competing, like Pathfinder is competing directly with like Traveler, but it definitely could.
Well, I was on the Nerd Hole Radio podcast the other day, and I really zoned in on what it is about the Starship thing that has me all about, because that's what I think is the make or break for Starfinder, right? Mm-hmm. So the people who watch the show, you know this already, but I think it's going to be coming down to Starship combat. If it's too good, and you don't want to get out of the ship, that's not going to work, and I'm going to tell you in a second why. And if it's not good enough, then you're not going to want to get in the ship, and it's not going to feel like space part of the whole game is involved. And they were saying 1 in 10 games should be about the ship in the Adventure Pass. I think that's going to change to more like 3 out of 10, or maybe 4 out of 15. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The reason I think that this is so important is that Paizo has succeeded on the strength of their growing IP, right? Like, it's about, oh god, I can't believe I'm blanking on the names. About Varys and, what's the name of the barbarian lady? I know this one.
I don't remember, but I know you're talking about.
The Iconics, and like Galarian and the richness of the setting. And it's like, and when they release stuff, like we were talking in the last episode about how Pathfinder Unchained, there was definitely somebody with an eye.
That's her name.
Amiri, thank you, Amiri, yes. Amiri is the barbarian. Right, so, like I said, we remember 2 of the names of the Iconics, which I feel is good, because I can only remember 2 names from characters in fucking Forgotten Realms. So they're on equal footing there. But yeah, we were talking about Pathfinder and Change. That somebody had an ulterior motive when they were doing it, and that we're probably going to see a lot of the Pathfinder and Change stuff as game mechanics in Kingmaker, because you can't use just like the OGL D&D system to make a video game. It's explicitly forbidden in the license. By the way,
real quick, Valeros, I always confuse with this guy.
Valeros,
that's his name. I know this guy Silos in the SCA, and he's definitely a fighter's fighter. I'm always like, yeah, Silos. I mean, Valeros. Yeah, same thing.
Oh.
He beats people with sticks.
To get back to the space stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're always stuck in the ship, then you're not going to be going around and adventuring in all these rich, lush planets that they want you to become invested in to make the IP of Starfinder as valuable as the IP of Pathfinder.
Huh, it's an interesting thought.
And that's why it's so important that the spaceship thing has the right balance.
Yep. I can see that.
Yeah. I can't believe that I danced around that for like 2 months.
It was a good entryway. I got it. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel that if the starship stuff is as strong as exploring planets and everything, you can just choose to have the kind of campaign that you want. Like what I enjoy about
I'm sure people will just choose to have the campaign that they want, but Paizo needs their subscription model to keep functioning for everything else to keep working.
Yeah.
So like they have to please that core, and if they're going to bring the Pathfinder people over, it has the balance has got to be there. Otherwise, you're going to get this Mass Effect feel to exploring the universe, and I know that's not what they want.
Yeah.
I don't know that, I should say. I strongly believe that's not what they want.
I really hope they have strong ship stuff, because I have that entire utopian sci-fi setting already written up, and I really want to do me some like Babylon 5 Star Trek stuff with it.
It's I mean, like, I think it's going to be good. All the stuff says it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to playing it at some point. Hopefully at GenCon.
So, shockingly, there are not really many rules for boats, as far as I know. I mean, like in regular Pathfinder or D&D.
So, I looked at vehicle rules, and they're there, but they're weird.
So I
did a they were called the Necro Orcas, I think it was. They were essentially orcas that had been turned into undead and scooped out to be like submarines.
We covered that in the review of episode 4, I think.
Yep. So it was really weird building those because what's that?
This is the only one to get a shuriken.
Ooh.
Mike, I have a product we're working on that accidentally gets the shuriken, by the way. When it comes out, I will go, Mike, you just need to read this one line, please. So I actually had a chance when I was doing
the vehicle rules are, for anyone curious, it's Ultimate Campaign, right? Or no, Ultimate Combat.
Originally they were...
they were weird and hard to work with.
They were, but they were expanded in, I think, Skull and Shackles. They had a thing for boats.
That sounds right.
So we took some of the stuff from both of those, and when we were doing Necropunk, we did, all right, vehicle rules are really stupid. Here's how we suggest you do them. And it was weird that you mentioned the Necro Orcas, because you know what? We have living ships too. So it's like, yeah, they work a lot better.
Living, unliving.
Well, I mean, this is Necropunk, so...
Frantic did a bunch of kaiju, and we did them all differently. So one was like a collective team magic item, one was a magic item, one was just like a massive suit, one was like a tiny kind of magical suit, and like some of them had vehicles and some of them didn't. But yeah, we were like, if people don't want to use those, we should have some options around, right?
Yeah. So. For and then 2, we did
2099 Wasteland has 2 pages of 5e vehicle rules for anyone.
So, Mike, I hear in the other media of interest section, I hear there is a something about.
This was also taken off Duan's Facebooking.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to cover that, or should I? Do you want
the Cammy thing?
What did I say?
The Cammy thing on. ESPN.
Yeah, it's freaking insane. Like
right.
Yeah,
so can you get a screenshot of Cammy, dude? Just Google Cammy, it'll be the first thing. She's always in the same outfit.
But during the Evo tournaments,
which is professional fighting games, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So ESPN walks up to one of the guys who are in the match, and they whisper to him, and they're like, "You gotta change her outfit." And this is the basic the Cammy outfit that she's had forever since the dawn of Street Fighter. And it's not advertiser friendly, so they needed it to be changed. It's freaking insane. It's
just like a green leotard, and then she's got some camo paint on her legs and boots and like red gloves and a hat and braids. And that's it.
It's up on the screen too. So so they actually asked him to change his costume, which has no effect, to a less revealing one, and it's like, okay.
Like this is not even as skimpy as like what people actually wear in a lot of events.
Yep.
Yeah, that's freaking.
I don't know. It's weird. I kind of feel like it's just like the bros being like, we're glad that this is here, and like that's it. Like that's it.
Savannah, you got a very hard-set grin on your face there, like you were trying to hold something back.
No worries. Keep going.
Okay.
Well, you have a better perspective of this than we do, I would think.
Yep.
I suppose I spaced slightly and was like, okay, so I have a reactionary comment, but I'm just not going to say it because I might be out of context. So. But
yeah, the whole thing is like Cammy having to change the guy having to change his outfit for Cammy because it's not advertiser friendly. Oh my god! At a pro gaming tournament, that is just so absurd.
Well, at least pro gamers were in the news for something other than being a dick.
Yeah, really.
So that's new.
Yeah, that's something. Take what we can get. You saw Dunkirk? How was it?
So I have this. I work with Justice League Arizona. We do costume visits to like hospitals. I do Batman to see sick kids as Batman. So we have a relationship with a guy who has a relationship with WB, and he gets us into a lot of screenings. We do a lot of their screening. I'm the Batman at a lot of screenings for like DC movies. My wife is the Wonder Woman and all that stuff. There's like a bunch of our members with like 60, 80. But sometimes we have to go to other movies because he's like, we need to fill seats at the premiere. Do you want to go? And we're like, all right. So I saw Dunkirk. I got violently ill because it was a IMAX and I was on the left side and it's really loud and obnoxious. But it's a good movie. It's like up there with Saving Private Ryan in terms of like tone, not in terms of like skill. It's definitely a Christopher Nolan movie into its DNA. It has like manufactured Dutch angles, weird perspectives on half the stuff. There is the wah noise all the time too. He said it blows out the bass and like made me literally violently ill. My wife and everyone else was fine except for one of my friends had the same reaction. But it's a war movie. Like and there's some of those beautiful shots you'll ever see of like Fokkers or like Spitfires, like that old World War II style like dogfights. They got everything right down to like the littlest detail. They actually had one of the guys who worked kind of with them on the vintage plane stuff actually come in and everything. They have like scale models they use. Some of the most gorgeous cinematography you'll see. But all the characters except for like 2 are completely disposable. But I'm not sure that the dehumanizing element isn't actually what he was going for, because it was like these are a bunch of soldiers, they're not unique. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a gorgeous movie. If you like war movies, go see Dunkirk. If you do not like war movies, run away screaming. It is a war movie.
What was their symbolism?
Oh my god, it's Christopher Nolan. What do you expect? Yes, there was.
Also, I just caught up on the ESPN thing. I think I wasn't quite processing because I've not done Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
It's the blonde British lady.
Yeah, no, I feel like my feelings are still confused because there's that like annoying line between like empowerment and objectification.
Mm-hmm.
And like arguably this is objectification.
Arguably.
But like they definitely should have like Street Fighter and fighting games, they always have skimpy outfits. Yeah. Not saying it's right, but I am saying that anyone who was thinking this was going to be a problem should have looked through the roster and been like, okay, because of our broadcasting standards,
please choose these costumes.
Only use these outfits. Yeah. So
one thing about those games though is that while it is definitely a hypersexualized thing, the guys are not immune to it either. Like, have you seen Vega?
Yeah, but it's also kind of like, people say, oh, well, they're skimpy lady barbarians, but look at Conan, he's only wearing a loincloth.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
That's not meant for, like, the female gaze. That's a male power fantasy.
It totally is.
Yeah. Like, the main distinction here, I feel, is that there's no dick print. You don't see the dick.
Yeah, there's nothing there to arouse a lady boner, as it were.
Well, there was that recalled Mortal Kombat 3 with bestialities in it.
Yep.
I still got that.
Mike, that is not that's not a lady boner thing. Trust me.
No.
Hopefully not.
It's a bad translation.
Hopefully not. No, I got you. So, have you guys seen Castlevania
you have something here. Yeah, this is incorrect. You have it saying that Castlevania was good. Castlevania was fucking excellent.
So here's what I have to say. It was excellent. It felt like the excellent first 2 episodes of a much more interesting series. Like the animation was gorgeous at time, but from what I've gathered, it was really a matter of like. So they were really testing out the waters with this thing, and when it is on point, it is freaking amazing. But there's certain things that afterwards I sat there and I was like, I enjoyed that, but something was missing.
They're not testing the waters. They're testing the new piloting system. We talked about this in the last episode, right?
I don't think so.
About how cables collapse.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. You did mention that.
Yeah. This is the way they're gonna do pilots from now on. They're gonna send them out like, here's the first 3 or 4 episodes on Netflix because we're not gonna spend 13 episodes worth of money because we had X number of flops that nobody watched, even though everyone loves, this is the Orange is the New Black or whatever.
It kind of reminds me of like the BBC model.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have as long of seasons as American shows do, and it's like, oh wait, this isn't working. We can reverse or do something.
Probably a little inspiration from that. Yeah.
I've only seen the first, an episode and a half so far.
So you've watched half the series.
Huh?
You've watched about half the series at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So 4 episodes.
I've seen half the series, but when I first saw the animation, I was like, wow, this reminds me of something from like one of those 90s MTV or HBO like late night animations.
Yep, like Spawn or something.
There were spots of it that felt like Animatrix. Like
very much so.
With Animatrix with that like really cool, flowy kind of...
So here's something that really bothered me was they had that gorgeous animation, that really like high res, like you can tell they spent like a lot of money on those scenes. And then there's some scenes when the crowd is yelling and no one's mouth is moving.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that's what I hear. Like random common people or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like no effort went into them.
Yeah, like there's certain parts that they're like, look at this gorgeous thing. Like the Cyclops fight is so cool, and like the bar fight's cool, and the vampire-ish. I won't spoil anything. The vampire-ish fight is cool.
Yeah.
But then they had these really like minimally animated scenes in the middle of it, and like if it was any other series, I'd be like, oh, I don't really care. But they have such a dissonance. Like, oh my god, that's some of my favorite animation I've ever seen. And then why is this guy sitting there like this as a Belmont? I don't want to spoil anything. Runs that way, and you're like, go ahead.
It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was like the remastering of Dragon Ball Z, and they just kind of spliced in remaster animation and with the animation from like the 80s and the early 90s, and it was atrocious to look at, but it's just so...
You can totally tell which is which.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't notice that at all when I was watching it. I think that was definitely like an intentional... We are going to spend more money and time on the things we want you to look at.
Oh, totally.
But
I didn't notice it either. I didn't notice it happening, actually. So
well, the first episode's a little devoid.
Wrapped into what was going on. Like,
yeah.
While I will agree, it was a little bit slow for the setup. I think we're going to see 12 to 13 episodes, and then like episode 2 will be, I don't know. I think we're going to see a original Star Wars type arc going on here.
Yep. The cool thing is they already have another season 2 greenlit. And it's 8 episodes for this one. The first season was 4.
Oh, just 8?
It's just 8.
Oh, that's a surprise.
No, that's
but good. So the first one ended up being, I think, if you total up the entire thing, it was 90 minutes of animation, which is basically a TV movie that they broke into 4 episodes for some reason. So they could say they had a series and not a movie. And the next one is going to be like, I think, kind of in that same vein. Like it'll just basically be 2 movies shoved together, which is fine. The setup and the premise worked really well for it. Dude, can you tell me that it did not feel like an RPG game, by the way? Or hell, like Castlevania, it felt like a lot. And that's great. They knew their audience. They knew what attracted people to the game, and it worked so well.
How was the music, by the way?
sexy.
Pretty good.
With the score.
But say it wasn't one of those things that like was like, oh yeah, the music. It was like it was good. It fit the tone.
It wasn't Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nothing Symphony of the Night. Sadly.
So so the next thing we have here is
it will be 3. Okay, all right.
So Lady Doctor Who in all capitals. Hey guys, I hear this was a thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about this first because I've never seen Doctor Who, and I'm probably the furthest removed. Good for them. I'm amazed it took 13 doctors to get a woman. Like,
I'm glad you're amazed.
I mean, I don't know, like, of all the places I'd expect them to be on top of, it'd be over there.
So
they're generally more sensible than we are.
To be fair, they did have Missy 2 seasons earlier. Was it 2 seasons or 1 season? It was 2.
It was about 2 seasons.
Yeah, Missy, who is the master, who is his foil. Minor spoiler, guys. I mean, it's been it's one of the longest running TV shows. You had your chance.
And that's just like 50 years.
Yeah, you've been warned, I guess.
They find like lost archived episodes in places, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And,
but yeah, they're actually missing some from the first season, by the way. Still, first 2 seasons.
Last year I heard a story on NPR about it.
But yeah, anyway, they the master's his foil, and its last incarnation was a woman. So it was kind of like hinting at it a little bit, and everyone was I think they kind of tested the waters with that, and everyone went, "Oh my god." So the funny thing is, there's all these memes going around about people being butthurt about it.
Yeah.
On my feed, I don't see a lot of that, but I made the mistake of going to 4chan. Oh my god, they are.
Why?
I go to TG.
Stop,
it's
love
fun.
Yourself.
I go to TG. It's fun. But yeah, people are bricking shits.
Yes.
What was it? Bricking. It was. Yeah, bricking.
I don't know. I'm still pissed there are no female Space Marines. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. They try to appease it with the nuns with guns, but I think that we have to have that at some point. Though the neckbeards will eat their own beard in rage whenever that happens. For one, am down for it.
Having watched all of New Who so far, my opinion is that like throughout this entire season, they've been foreshadowing it so hard.
Totally.
They practically hit you over the head with a brick with it, and people are shocked, and that's the most hilarious thing about it.
That just means they haven't watched it.
Yeah. Like,
wait, you weren't watching it before, and you won't watch it now? Because it's a girl? Oh darn, no loss.
Yeah, and it's
I have to say. Oh, go ahead.
And some people are saying it's a PR like marketing strategy, but how is it a marketing strategy when people have been asking for this since like the end of like Smith, like really like very vocal about it, and they've clearly like been testing around with doing it, but people were like, well, no, this suddenly happened out of the blue because the ratings for 1 season were bad. It makes no fucking sense.
But yeah, I'm just glad that the Doctor is a gender-neutral term, because I actually didn't like and I don't watch enough Who to have a ton of grounding, but the Master becoming, like, Missy, as in, like, the mistress. Like, I didn't like that, because it seemed very, kind of like Missy, such a Dominionizing sounding name, and, like, that kind of bothers me. And
here's the thing with that, though. In the series, she goes, "I am the Master." And she'd use the name Missy as like a code name ahead of time.
Ooh, okay.
And then they kind of adopted it a little bit. So and she does it because she's playful and weird and likes to mess with people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she hid who she was for a while, like calling herself Missy instead of the Master.
Yeah.
And then everyone went, "Oh my god, it's the Master." You know what I mean? So it was much more a like. Again, it's not the best way to do it. I mean, they've also they've tested this out though. They had Clara basically become the Doctor for an episode. They had actually more than one episode. They had Sarah. Wasn't Sarah Jane Smith? Who was the redhead older woman?
Donna.
Yeah, they had Dr. Donna for a few episodes, or an episode or two. They had the Doctor's daughter, which is great. She left off in a spaceship to go have adventures, and we never hear from her again.
Yeah, what the hell? But she married David Tennant, so that's something, I guess.
Yep.
I want to add that I heard about some like blowback resulting from this profession, like in a larger sense. Like somebody released all of the BBC I don't think it was the BBC. I think somebody else did it. But all the payment scale, basically, and
yeah,
the highest
I
paid
heard
woman
this.
was 8th, and she was paid 3 times less than the I think nearest guy.
That sucks.
And then the highest paid ethnicity was a dude at 25th.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I on the one hand, it's kind of shitty that if that was released by somebody else, if it was by BBC trying to be forward mind, we're gonna fix this, then that's great. But I don't think it was. I think it was a sabotage.
The other thing that was released was a collection of all the stills of that actress who has done. She doesn't porn or anything, but she did things where she was topless or something. And they released all of that. And my only reaction is, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I think
the
Daily Mail.
the Daily Mail.
Yeah, that's BS. And it's technically, you can go watch those movies. Who the hell cares?
Yeah, the Daily Mail is garbage though, so
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the Inquirer here.
Yeah, I know.
You have to be a crazy person to take it seriously or buy it.
But it's one of those things where it's that's scummy. Come on, guys, we're better than this.
One time a dozen.
yeah.
All right, so now we're talking about Kickstarters.
Woo.
I found one today that I think is neat. It's called Red Shirts. It's Absurdist Starfinder adventure.
Mike, I will correct you on one thing here as a Discordian, which means I am an absurdist philosophically. It is absurd adventures in space. They're not absurdists.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Adventures in Absurdity as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. Adventures in absurdity. And I'm like, trust me, they are not adhering to a form of existentialism. They are running around doing Futurama stuff, which is awesome. I'm so psyched for that book.
It's supposed to be about humor, and it should be cool. They have well over their goal. They're almost at $3,000. They only asked for $1,000. They've got 95 backers, and there's 43 days to go. So there's lots of time to get on board. Check it out. I will leave a link in the YouTube.
Woo.
So the next thing is Warriors of Charlemagne again. You still want to talk about that?
John Kennedy was talking about this last show. It's out and madly overfunded already, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so overfunded.
They launched this week and are 30,000 after asking for 10, and they have 36 days to go. So that's off like a rocket.
So there's one that I put on there, but I think they were ending today sometime. I can't remember if they are.
I'll look. Okay. Yes, it is over.
Okay.
Oh, damn, they got a lot of money.
Yeah, Blood and Plunder I mentioned before because I followed them because they have really, really, really pretty miniatures. I don't want to play the game, but it's really cool. They have this it's Age of Sail game, but they actually managed to include a lot of weird ethnicities that you wouldn't expect normally to be associated with a pirate game. I don't want to say it's weird ethnicities. Yeah. I mean in that I mean that they're not ones that are typically
Dutch and native Caribbean miniatures.
Yeah, very uncommon. Yeah.
So they have a lot of they have these really cool, beautifully sculpted, well researched in terms of names. I actually watched some of their stuff and they were talking about their research into it. Native Caribbean stuff. And so guys, by the way, how do you guys pronounce it? Caribbean or Caribbean? Because there's
I say Caribbean.
Caribbean. Okay. I'm East
say
Coast.
Caribbean unless I'm talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think it's Caribbean.
Let's say both are right. I've heard, but I don't know. I grew up East Coast, so Caribbean.
I blame pirates.
But yeah, they
this is making me think that the Dutch really got away with they got away with it, man. They rolled around and they were assholes for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And everybody forgot.
No, I didn't forget.
The pictures on their Kickstarter page are gorgeous.
They are.
The mini setups they have.
Oh, and they do these live streams all the time.
Totally look gorgeous, yeah.
They do these live streams. That's why I haven't actually bought anything from them, but I put them on my Facebook because they keep popping up with these gorgeous videos. You're look at our terrain. We're gonna play this game in this thing that probably took more hours than you put into your degrees to make, and it is just a work of art. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to play any game there. I don't care if your rules are good or bad. I just want to play a game on that table.
Yep.
There's another one I want to talk about called Hand of Glory. And that one you can back right now. But Blood and Plunder, by the way, always has Kickstarters coming out. I'll let you guys know when the next one is. But yeah.
Hand of Glory is a dubious name.
I know. So they also kind of really oversell what they are. They're like, this will change the game entirely. The stories you can tell, and the this and the. What it is it's a bunch of hands you can attach to miniatures that they're selling with rare earth magnets. But it's really cool.
It seems cool, yeah. I think this would be a great chance to. I was actually reading. I get most of my Tumblr from Facebook, weirdly, and it was talking about fantasy like prosthetic limbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh yeah, there's this orc chieftain who lost her arm strangling a dragon to death, so she had her shaman make a new magical arm, you know, with its bones for her arm and its teeth for her fingernails.
So yeah,
like, I think they should do some hella cool, like, fancy prosthetics.
Oh, they totally should. They actually do it. All they have in there is a prosthetic is a hook hand at one of them. But yeah, they basically are these minis that they're selling that are, like, kind of cut off at the wrist, and the hands are all holding different weapons, and they're all in different positions, so you can kind of, like, add swords or axes or torches or banners or cool things like that.
I feel like they should also sell the magnets, because the problem is that you'd have to buy these little magnetic stump arm minis. And it'd be cool, like, I know people who totally mod their minis, and you could, like, snip off their hands and put a little magnet on there. And then...
So, to be fair, this came to my attention because it's a 40k trick. Because when you get those 40k miniatures, they're really expensive. And you don't want to have to get, this is a las gun guy, and this one's a las pistol guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, people will paint arms and attach they'll either do pinning or they'll do a tiny rare earth magnets like that. So this is actually a really old trick, especially useful on like tanks that are like $1 bazillion to buy. And then you're like, well, I'm gonna put these. The thing comes with 4 different attachments you can put on it, but you can only use one of them in your game. So you're like, all right, that sucks. So what they do is attach a magnet to the base of it and put it on top of the tank, and it goes in. So honestly, if you bought these, I bet you could just snip your thing and just toss a little magnet on there. You can buy they're called like pinning magnets or something. That's what they're actually called. That's what we always call them. And I mean, honestly, it's a rare earth magnet. It'll probably attach to most things, even a piece of metal you just toss on there. So, but they're really cool. Yeah, go check them out. They got a while on there. I actually don't know what it is. Oh yeah, so the initial video is just like them being like, "This will change the way you tell stories." I'm like, dude, it's cool. It's mini hands. You don't need to be like, you don't have to be like, this is revolutionary.
I don't know, Scott. You gotta hand it to him.
I see what you did there. This is the sound of one hand clapping. So, the Yellow King. Tell us about that, guys.
Yeah, Savannah.
Yeah, so I haven't looked into it a ton myself, but I am terribly interested because I feel like the Yellow King is like, so there's the Cthulhu as a genre is, you know, very oversaturated, but Cthulhu as the specific monster is the most oversaturated, I feel like.
Of them, yeah.
Like, everyone knows what Cthulhu is at this point, like, even if you're not in the community, as it were. But it's interesting that everything seems to be shifting towards Haster.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, like the Strange Aeons game for Pathfinder, the Yellow King, that sort of thing. And
some of them might have to do with his contested IP rights of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Because some of the, I remember some 3rd edition books got pulled.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is probably, I will probably have some updates because I know that the GM for my Call of Cthulhu game backed it. So this is probably what we'll play once it's out and in hand, so, stay tuned.
What was that show with a detective, was it True Detectives or something? Had some connection to it? I only watched like an episode or 2.
Yeah. It was connected to really weird stuff. I'm not sure if it was, like, it could probably be seen as modern, like, Lovecraftian-esque.
Okay, so it wasn't, like, actually Lovecraft. I'm gonna say, I watched an episode or 2, it was really interesting, but I was also really bored at parts, and I was just like, I can go watch Law & Order.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm terrible with that.
I couldn't watch it sober because, they were just, like, boring parts.
Yep. So, did anyone else have any other Kickstarters to talk about?
I don't, but, thinking about Cthulhu, the weird thing about it, when it comes to making a game out of it, is that a lot of the time people will actually make it a monster. Kind of weird to me, I guess, because Cthulhu is more of a presence.
If it has stats, you can kill it type of thing.
Have you not played Cthulhu Saves the World yet?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
It's so good.
It's very silly.
It's so good. It's like $1. Go buy it. It's amazing. It's the best dollar you'll ever spend.
Okay.
So now our guest has a chance to talk for as much time as they want, I mean, within reason here, about whatever they want, and we'll join in, I'm sure. So, free talk, man, go for it, take it away.
You want to talk about Cthulhu or?
Well, actually, right now, since I haven't really been doing like writing stuff other than like RPing, I've been focusing like on a lot of music stuff right now. Mm-hmm. Like I've been doing like I've been making music since about around this time last year, and I've like kind of progressed to a point where I'm actually like making songs. So I've made about 7. I'm doing a 10 shitty songs project where I focus on. I read a book. I forgot what book I read, but I read a book that said that you should just make stuff and just try and focus on making. Try to focus on wanting the bad outcome, because the bad outcome means that you learn something and you progressed.
Yeah.
So I came up with like the 10 shitty songs project where I'm making songs until I make 10 songs, and then I'll be comfortable with making music. And I've actually learned a lot from doing this. I've been making the actual songs for about 3 months, and I've learned so much in that short span of time. And then after I'm done with this, I'm going to do like a mini album sort of thing, and just try to see where that goes. And I'm just trying to do. I love music, and I'm actually heavily into like the whole Japanese idol scene and stuff like that. And I love like the producers and the self-produced idols and everything. So I know like, a lot of DJs who produce. It's just really fun, I'm very passionate about it. That's why I'm working on that right now. But I also really want to do more tabletop.
So what is your genre, man? Or are you genre neutral? What's your genre?
As far as music, I'm very much into doing like electronic style music. Right now I guess I have a very 80s or 90s style by default, because my synthesizers are all crappy and free.
Yep. So full disclosure, when I was young, when I was like 12 to like 16, I used to actually do that stuff. I used to do a bunch of mixing way back when. I actually had like the turntable and everything like that. I could sync up to my computer and everything. I used to have my Acid, my Acid program and stuff, and I used to actually make music for a while. I just popped a link in the chat there. It is not good. It is not amazing, but it's a lot of fun. I used to do like remix for old video game themes and stuff. I haven't touched that in like 10 years. But dude, it is so much fun to do. It is such a creative like outlet that you can explore in weird ways that you don't normally think about,
Yeah. I really love like internet music, like meme music and stuff. Just like these random internet producers just doing stuff. Like Frank Javc, he's freaking amazing. I love all of his stuff. And it's just like, I just love to experiment. I don't like to be in a genre box, because
I get it, dude.
Yeah, so I love to just be free to just do whatever I want to do.
Do you have a Bandcamp or anything that we can...
Right now I just have my SoundCloud, because I'm just like, and after I'm done with my 10 songs, I'll have like Bandcamp and everything. Ooh. But yeah, my SoundCloud is Duan Sparkles, because that's my stage name.
I love it.
I like it.
So my old stuff's up on YouTube, on Newgrounds, because that was that cool. I also have the weird thing of like, someone used some of my music in a game and tagged me, and I was like, cool. All right, man. It was a terrible game that was made in like 10 minutes. But,
shit, man, you're down to Philly.
Oh yeah.
Steph is going down to Philly for the weekend, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's just a 6-hour drive from Pittsburgh if you're on the
just a 6-hour drive, no big deal.
It's not that bad. I did it last time we went. I just drove us in the morning, then I drove us home the same day.
I did a 3-hour.
If it's like 2 energy drinks or a fucking hotel room, I'll just buy 2 energy drinks.
I did a trip all the way up to northern Arizona. Wait, north or south? I think it was north. Yeah, it was past Paizo. But yeah, gorgeous country up there. 3 hours each way, but worth it. Got through a lot of that last Ender book, which, oh my god, man. Ugh.
No, next time I'm in Philly, I'll remember to hit you up ahead of time. There's a place on Race Street that I've been trying to go to called East Station Harbor Restaurant. They have a giant yellow sign right across from Dim Sum Garden. And every time I go, I was suggested by like a local Chinese woman to me, like, this is the good place to go. Every time I fucking go, they're catering an event. And like when I do this, I starve myself, like because I know I'm gonna get dim sum the next day. I just don't eat anything for like at least 24 hours, and then like I'm told like twice now, like no dim sum, and then I have to go somewhere else, and it's just not like, I don't know. Have you gotten to go there? Do you do dim sum, or I don't know?
I haven't been there at all. Like, I've been to a lot of Chinese places in the city, but I haven't been there specifically though.
All right.
But if they're catering like all the time, they must be amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Like weddings and stuff, like it costs a lot of money to rent out a restaurant like that. Like,
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
I mean, it means it must be good then, right?
I know, and that's what kills me, because it just makes me madder. And I'm like, can I please just order one thing of dumplings? Just like, I'm trying to know.
So, Mike, you remind me of something here. I had a out-of-body experience yesterday. I ordered like, I was like, wife went out to eat with her mom, and she's like, get whatever you want, get something Asian. She doesn't do Asian. And I went to this place. I actually did Indian. It's called Pastries and Chot. Pastries, just one big N and Chot. And I just ordered it kind of blind. Like, that sounds good. And I had, like, orgasmic food. they had, so you guys know what paneer is? It's like that cheese curd, the thing. So it was a marsala, like a tikka marsala, like, pizza thing with, like, stuff with, like, onions and, like, sauce, topped with marsala sauce and paneer. Oh, my God, it blew my mind. And then they had...
That sounds suspiciously like Flavor Scott. I'm not interested.
Oh, that's okay. Flavor is a wonderful thing, and I will bathe in that. Oh my God, I would have rolled in that. It was so good.
Pretty positive that whatever you're describing would probably kill me.
Oh, it was spicy and delicious. They also had... You guys ever have like a Jamaican beef patty?
Kills me. The
Had what now?
A Jamaican beef patty.
You.
No.
Oh yeah,
they're really good.
Those are one of my favorite foods. I ate like 2 chicken patties.
Oh, they're so good. Anyway, they had like a puff pastry that was filled with like good like spiced chicken stuff. But the last thing is, I gotta go. It's too far away. I won't go get it. It looks like Rice Krispies. I don't know how else to describe it. It looks like it's spicy Rice Krispies instead of Chot, and it was so good. I'm eating it with a spoon. I'm just like posting on Facebook, like, I have no idea what I'm eating right now. What is this? And it was delicious, but it was also the weirdest thing I've eaten recently. And I kind of was like, they're called pastries and Chot. I'll get one of their Chots. That one looks good, and made the mistake of finding the most awesome thing ever.
Cool.
There we go. It still sounds like Flavor, so it's all yours.
Flavor? Are you not a flavor person?
I do not do Flavor.
So you're like my wife, who just will not eat anything unless it's bread, or like bread, some protein, generally beef, tomato, and lots of cheese?
Tomatoes a no-go, and cheese is sort of suspicious.
Okay, so you're even farther on that spectrum.
We're probably similar places on the spectrum, but have different preferences.
Yeah.
When I was in college, the health equivalent class that I took was talking about selective eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, they eat, mostly bland white foods. And I'm talking to my roommate that night, and I'm like, that isn't me! And then we stop and we looked at my plate, and there's like chicken strips and pasta with Alfredo sauce and like a turkey sandwich or something. I'm like, shut up.
So I have like this experience where like one of my favorite things to do with my wife is, outside the obvious, is to take her to strange places that can give her strange food. But we found things that she likes, like pesto. She doesn't like textures, so it's like pesto. She's like, that looks really weird. It's green. I don't trust it.
Green things.
And then she tastes it. She's like, this is the best thing ever. Can we get this every day? I'm like, sure, why not? Like pesto sauce is so good. My favorite reaction to her was at one point I got her to try some chicken vindaloo, and it's like a very curry-ish like.
Yeah, I heard of that
Indian
from Red Dwarf.
Yeah. So I took it, and she's like, how much do I have to eat? She was like, I touch it with her tongue, and I put the whole spoon in her mouth and pull it out, and she just fell to the floor like gagging, and I'm like, all right, you don't like Indian food, I guess.
Yep, no. I'm a weenie when it comes to spice, and I don't like flavor. Indian food, no.
I have the opposite problem with you. I can't eat bland food anymore. My taste buds are like, I don't even taste it anymore. It's like
charred.
I'm sure that they're burnt out a little bit. I'm like, it has to be this spicy for me to even taste it. So we're going up here, guys.
Since we're on the topic of food, I was given a gift about a month ago by a friend. Well, 2 gifts, but I have this a dwarven cookbook.
I will be right back, guys.
And
That sounds awesome.
And a garden and table book that's also tabletop food. But I think it was like a written, but like I'm not sure what. I think it was written by an elf. I'm not sure. But yeah, the Dwarven cookbook is pretty freaking crazy. Like, it's got like freaking squirrel recipes and stuff in it. It's absolutely insane, and it's like meant to like be stuff that you can like cook while you're and serve when you're like just doing tabletop stuff.
Didn't they do a Kickstarter with something similar to that?
Magic.
Alex Abel does Kickstarters for stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just funded about 2-3 weeks ago. We had him on the show.
That's awesome.
So guys, I have stolen and gotten the weird shot weird rice thing.
See, when you said Rice Krispies, I thought you meant Rice Krispie treat, and I was like,
no,
right.
it's like, it's like, if you guys can see, it's like actual
it's
oh wow, you just eat that rice.
That's real weird. It looks like uncooked macaroni noodles. Yeah.
So just about a day old, just not as good as I wanted it to be. But yeah, it's like a really savory flavor. And it's really spicy, even by my standards.
Nope.
So what is that called again?
It's a type of chot. It has some name I cannot pronounce. It's like a BHU. It starts with a BHU. I don't know. It's good, man. Also, I just realized I'm really hungry.
Fair. People ask me sometimes, they're like, okay, so you don't drink water and you don't eat vegetables. How are you alive?
How are you alive?
I'd say I go through so many bottles of water a day, man.
It's like, no, we don't talk about that, because if we talk about it too much, then the paradox of 25 years of vulgar magic will come crashing down and explode us all.
Wait, you don't drink water?
I try not to.
Do you drink, like, soda or tea or what?
I would prefer to drink soda. Unfortunately, that has come back to get me, because ulcers and kidney stones and bears, oh my.
Is your pee black?
But yeah, the answer is Mio. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, Mio is the answer, because water is gross.
I recently discovered that, actually. But I live in Arizona. I go through like 3 bottles of water a day, at least.
I mean, that makes sense. Your trash cans are melting there. So,
hey guys, don't worry, guys. We're out of the heat waves. It's only in the 90s. It's only in the high 90s.
Well, that's good. That's good.
When I was a landscaper, I literally took 6 liters of water with me.
Oh yeah, you have to, dude.
Yeah.
Well, when I go out to fight for the SCA, you have to start drinking before you go outside.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
Yeah, no, my Sunday gaming group has tried to save my life by making me drink more water. And one of my gamers, like, goes through, like, a ridiculous amount of water. So that's the thing. I have to drink as much water as they do within the 4-hour gaming period. And it's more water, like, they drink more in 4 hours than I would by myself all day.
So basically, you end up spending 30 minutes of the whole game session running to the bathroom?
Yes!
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is your fault!
Yeah.
Yeah, Mio is great. It's like $3, and I've been using it for like a couple dozen things. Mio is just a 0-calorie like water flavor thing. It tastes really good.
Yeah, I recommend orange vanilla.
I like the red.
Oh, refill your Mios, and we will take our brief break, and then be back to do Baron von Munchausen actual play.
Okay, I guess we can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. So once again, thanks for joining us. Signing off.